agree with this. Food for the soul, for sure. The arts, it really does feed you in a totally different way as well. But we're also referring to the fact that the arts industry, one of the worst affected by the threat of COVID-19. Well, even in phase 2, exhibitions, concerts, they have not been allowed to resume, as they're considered activities where many people come into close contact for long periods of time. And so for this reason, theatres remain closed. So can you imagine the blow that this has dealt to the arts community? They've had to cancel or postpone live performances, exhibitions, and many other arts and cultural events. And this has actually been quite detrimental to, we were talking about cash flow earlier, to the way they run their business.
I'm sure. But today, our guests who are joining us on the line have found a way to get around this. They are two veterans of the performing arts industry, and they have teamed up with homegrown tech startup Actuality to come up with what they call Asia's first interactive 360-degree live stream technology, which promises to transport you into the world of theatre at the touch of a button. And joining us now to tell us how it works are Derrick, the executive producer of Singapore theatrical entertainment company Sightlines Entertainment. He is joined by award-winning playwright, director, and creative director of Sightlines Entertainment, Chong Chien. Thanks very much for joining us today. Tell us, what is this live stream technology and how does it work?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning, rather. So I'm Chien. Hi, everyone. And I'm very happy that Derrick and I, together with our tech company, Actuality, have come up with this virtual stage solution where one can freely navigate a 360-degree environment. So they can jump from point to point. So which means that they can go from outside the theater and then go right inside the courtyard, talk to the front of house manager, speak to fellow online audiences, and then as they watch the show, they can toggle between different camera angles to watch the play in real time. So I think that's really exciting.
It does sound exciting, Derrick and Chien, for sure. It will definitely transport me into the theatre that I kind of quite miss at this time. So audiences will be able to have a 360-degree experience then, almost a total experience, bar the fact that we're not in the theatre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and apart from already the difference is that we're using a 360 degrees camera. And so the power is really in the audience hands, that they can really navigate freely how they want to watch, rather than a usual kind of camera frame that has already been pre-selected by the director. So right now, audiences can, really freely navigate the space themselves.
Right. So is it going to be like playing one of those computer games where you can move around and explore your surroundings and go backstage even, perhaps?
Exactly. So we're working with our partner, our tech startup partner, Actuality, and we're combining those technology that you see in games, 360 camera angles, virtual reality, augmented reality functions like choice-based narrative. So we're combining all of that together to put together a very unique 360 tech solution for the performing arts.
So when you say interactive live stream technology, it really is that I can actually have, maybe after the performance, an actual conversation with someone. I can go backstage and see how things are done.
Mm-hmm.
How interactive is this?
Chien has come up with this whole idea of creating a whole full experience for the audience, pre-show and post-show, and in terms of a post-show experience. At the end of the show, you can actually have the choice to click in to go backstage to have a chat with the director and meet the cast and almost join in the post-show talkback session like how a usual theater would have.
Right. And would this interactive session be live or would it be pre-recorded or something?
I think the interaction is definitely live. I think what we are trying to do is to bring the theatre into the homes of our audiences. So which means that you can speak to your fellow audiences online, chat with them online before the show and after the show. Very much like how when we watch theatre or go into the theatre for performing arts, it's really the interaction that we miss, being up close and personal with the performers, and as well as being able to connect with your fellow audiences as you watch a performance.
Do you see, gentlemen, that this could be an alternative, even a permanent alternative to live theatre?
I think definitely. I think with or without the pandemic, the performing arts has always been limited by the seating capacity of any theatres or any physical space. And I think with this virtual audience and with this virtual season, we can actually extend it online, which means, say, for example, we have a week of on-site audiences and then we extend to a virtual season that can go on indefinitely. I think the advantage of this is that also means that we can actually play to international audiences as well. So that was the experience that we had when we did a little experiment of ours way back in June, where we had an online performance and we had about 20% from other parts of the world, right? Is that right, Derrick? Hello?
Oh, we seem to have lost Derrick. We'll try to get him on again, but we'll chat with you in the meantime.
Okay.
How did you come up with this idea?
I think Derrick and I have always explored new ways to do art and do theatre, and that conversation started 2 years ago when we were talking about how do we convert audiences to theatre, to the performing arts. But of course, then fast forward to COVID-19 in February and March, we then decided to recycle some of the ideas that we talked about and bring that idea into a virtual space. But I think so we did a murder mystery theatre via Zoom in June. But I think in the process of doing that, we were also exploring how we can use technology to help us. Because, as you know, with the performing arts, we never think of using the technology, but I think because we were forced to, in the process of discovering it, we realized there were new possibilities of looking at technology. And the guys from Actuality actually contacted us because they knew about our performance, and then we hit it off right after that. And we started talking because they themselves had been trying to explore the virtual stage as well on their own. So I think it's really a great meeting of great minds coming together for a good cause.
You know, Chien, you said earlier, one of you did anyway, that with doing this and going online, you're actually reaching a far wider audience than you had started off. And that is so true. Museums and galleries and other performing arts groups are seeing this as well. And this brings to mind a conversation I had just recently with another arts group. And they said, when you do things online, people kind of expect it to be free all the time, but it can't continue like this, right? Having a 360 interactive, you're still putting on a performance, you still need to get your content out there. How do you think you can convince your audience that is something that they need to, at some point, eventually have to pay for?
I think it's been great that many organizations have been providing their archival material for free, especially in the early months. But I think, a lot of things that we are enjoying during lockdown, during COVID-19, we were reading books, we were watching TV, we were watching film, we were watching theatre online, watching dance online. All these things came about because of the investment and all the artists have been doing all this while. So which means, if you talk about how the art is not essential, but the very fact that when we were having a quarantine, when we were quarantined, having a lockdown, these were the very things that kept us alive, kept us engaged and watching the world via these lenses. And I think people appreciate the art, but I think it's a time that people give back. And because I think the thing is, if we don't give back, there'll be no more art. There'll be no more culture. There'll be no more stories. No more stories of ourselves, watching ourselves on screen, watching ourselves in theatre, on stage. I think that's what we are trying to convey via this platform as well, because we're trying to give the producers and content producers out there that there is a viable way to monetize the event, to monetize your shows. Because I think what we are providing in this solution is also, it's going to be a ticketing platform, it's going to be a streaming platform, which means you can actually monetize your bookshop, your events, your shows via this same platform. And I think that's why we are providing this as a one-stop solution. And I hope that the audience appreciate that and support our essential art makers, because that's what we need, especially when we are so I think that's what we need at this point, which is about human connection in one way or another.
Well, this is Money Mind on CNA 938, and we are connecting with Derrick Chew, the executive producer of Singapore theatrical entertainment company Sightlines Entertainment, as well as award-winning playwright, director, and creative director of Sightlines Entertainment, Chong Chien. Well, I was just wondering if are you the first theatre company in the world to consider this sort of technology, and if other theatre companies around the world are also considering similar kinds of technology in future, are you concerned that they might eat into your bottom line because our local audiences might think, I can now watch performances from the US and London, for example?
I believe we are possibly the first, if not the first in Asia. I think that, I can't say for that for sure, but we are definitely one of the early adopters of technology and adopting it in this way, where it's 360-degree and it's interactive. The reason why we are making this announcement to our local arts community members and to the world is also because we want to share this knowledge. Because I don't think we are trying to own. We own it. It's our own technology, developed homegrown, Singapore style. But I think what it is that we are also trying to send a message to the world that there are ways to work around social distancing. There are ways to look at how we can create art in a different environment, on a virtual space, and one that is not just a stopgap measure, but one that would actually work around seating capacities and physical spaces. That is something that we have always been grappled with since the beginning of time. So this could be the new future. This could be the new normal, and I think we are more than happy to share this knowledge with the rest of with our colleagues in the rest of the world, because we want, if nothing else, we want the performing arts to thrive, and we can only be better for it.
So can we ask you now then, gentlemen, when would we be able to share in, to witness, and to be a part of this live stream performance?
Oh, I think I shared with Derrick last 2 days ago in a press conference. As far as the production is concerned, we are ready to go, and we've been speaking to a few interested parties. And so I think we will go live from October onwards. But then you can actually go to our website, www.thefuturestage.com, to look at the demo and things like that, to see how this will work visually for you. But we are very excited because based on our response so far, we have been getting a lot of interest, not just from the performing arts groups, but also from sports and live events. So it's been really, really exciting.
Right. And how helpful have government initiatives to support the arts sector been? For example, I believe there was a digitalization fund. Did you manage to capitalize on that?
Yes. So we are going to. Well, as you mentioned in June, we did this Mystery Murder as a piece, as an experiment. So that will come on again by the end of the year using this fund. And I think the fund has been very, very useful to push the various groups and individuals to producing content online. But I think what we are doing is we are providing a tech solution that's made specifically for the performing arts. So we are no longer adapting to something foreign to us. It's really the technology is adapting to our art.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today, and we wish you the best, and we look forward to October. Hopefully that's when we'll be able to be a part of your first live stream performance using this 360-degree technology by actuality.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We were speaking with Derrick Chew, executive producer, as well as entertainment creative director, Chong Chien, both from Sightlines Entertainment.